do have some surprising good news today. And Rhett Rodriguez press conference that included some other surprises, I guess. Good ones. And I'll get to all of that relatively soon. First, I'm going to tell you, in case you don't know, I am Forrest Poston. This is WVU Football Going Deep. And I think you'll be hearing Reggie in the background once again saying she wants to go outside. Okay. Please subscribe. Click the thumbs up. Click the subscription notification bell. And make comments. Tell your friends. And remember that there is a thanks button underneath the video. And if you feel an urge to click that and follow through, I think maybe you should give in. All right, now, right off the bat. Nope. First. All right. I've actually got some of this written down, and I'm still screwing up. Of course, I can hardly read it without my glasses, but I've got glare if I wear the glasses. So, my current plan is to do a live show Thursday night, probably starting 8 o'clock Eastern time, just to cover where we stand. It'll be about the halfway point of spring practice. They have spring break coming up. I think we have 2 more practices before that, but kind of look at what's been said, what hasn't been said, what it all might mean, what might be coming up. Please tune in, and we'll see how that goes. I should have that set up so that you can click to be notified here, maybe later today or tomorrow. Now, the news. Bigger news than me doing a live show. Preston Fox is out of retirement, officially. He's actually practiced twice with the team now. I guess, now the assumption was that he, gave up on football because his body had taken pretty serious beating. He'd had concussions and various other problems, and evidently got enough into spring, was feeling good enough, and decided to finish out his 1 more year of eligibility. And dang it, wouldn't you know, we have fans who are just all over the place in their opinions. Big surprise there, isn't it? Preston Fox, you will not find a more reliable punt returner. And sure hands as a receiver. And some people will say, all he did, catching the ball, but yeah, what else did he do? And Preston Fox had a good average and got better. Because keep in mind that, it took him a while to get the right people onto the roster for some of the special teams. And the punt return blocking got better. And when it did, Preston Fox got some very good returns. Will he be the punt returner this year? I do not know. Other people will have to catch the ball if they're going to beat him out. And in modern days, that is harder than ever because punters do some funky things with the ball. And if nothing else, Fox is also good at, he will get to and catch some punts that other punters would let hit the ground and roll. So even just saving yardage is something for a punt returner. Now, he did not have a big receiving season last year, and that goes back, for whatever reason, Green's accuracy seemed to be at its worst when throwing to Fox. He missed Fox a lot, actually, for a couple of years. So Fox did get open. So, and again, he's a hard worker. He should do well under Rodriguez. I think they will get along rather well. Now, Rodriguez is still talking some about well, I don't think he mentioned it actually today. He has said the receiving room is thin. It's not. It's thin on experience is what it is. So this really helps in that regard. Fox will be the most experienced of the guys who played here. Of course, we have some guys coming in from other programs with 1 to 3 years under their belt, maybe 4, I don't know. But this should help solidify and maybe save having to go into the portal. Of course, do not know if anybody from that room will leave come portal time. Now, interesting thing, Rodriguez actually mentioned some specific players in today's press conference. He was not asked about who's injured, who's sidelined. I don't know if media has been asked or told to not ask about that, but it was not asked and it was not brought up. Now, it has been said, you mentioned Jaheim White should be back by the end of spring practice. So that is good news. Other running backs, Rodriguez was asked specifically about the transfer backs, and he said Edwards has taken some big steps, and Turner, he said, has had some flashes. So that's basically good. He did once again mention that Hubbard has done well. Still nothing about Dunbar. As far as I know, Dunbar is practicing. He may not be. It may be that he's not fitting well. There may be issues. We also have not heard anything about the walk-ons Clay Ash and Judah Price. Have to assume pretty much that they are gone. I mean, not yet, but when we have to get down to the 105, got to expect both of them to be gone. Dunbar is looking more like a casualty now as well. Or maybe it's just nobody is asking the right question. We shall see. Quarterbacks, still very pleased with that room. Markill doing well. Henderson, he said, is not showing any signs of his previous injury. So, hopefully back to full speed. Leaving it a question again how well he fits in the system, learns the system. Did specify, he said, right now, got 6 quarterbacks, and I'm not sure who all 6 are. That number may not be right. All getting reps. Would like to, I think, be down to 4 quarterbacks who are getting the regular reps, to actually know these are our primary guys by the end of spring. And the question of who starts will be decided when it's decided. That's, it's just a very good competition overall. Happy with all of the scholarship quarterbacks. Did mention that he has been impressed with Scotty Fox. He is the early enrollee freshman quarterback. Impressed, will have a bright future. Now, this is not necessarily impressed going to start. Do not read too much into that. He's happy with where he is for an early enrollee freshman. It was asked about, changes in NCAA rules. Marijuana no longer counts as a, substance that will get you banned as of last year. So did he have any thoughts on that? And essentially what it came down to was whatever players do, don't overdo it. And he hopes that they would be more focused on education and the team. Fair enough. I thought it was a good answer. It's gotten some kind of skewed coverage, what I've seen so far. But it was a reasonable question. And, I mean, Rodriguez gave a humorous answer first, but then he did actually give a thoughtful answer on a subject that he admitted he hadn't really, given a great deal of thought. Before it was against the rules, so it was against the rules. It has not caused a problem as of yet that he knows of anyway. Let's see. The question of speed came up again, and I mean, he said have to be faster at all positions. But here's the part that gets overlooked. He also said that he has to reserve judgment until players know the system. He recognizes that right now they still have to think before they act a lot of the time. That slows people down. He does not know what their true playing speed is. So we need to be faster, but at least some of that will come from learning the system better so they're playing at their true full speed. So it doesn't mean we don't have guys who can play fast. Right now, they're just not ready to play as fast as he would like. Yeah. And you know what? That's normal. That's normal. Don't let anybody build you up on the idea that the team is going to be slow. Right now, it's a learning curve. So, another point with the quarterbacks that came up, and it's not that different, but interesting to have the distinction made. Now, in the season, quarterbacks will not be allowed to change the play. Okay, let's follow this track. Rich Rodriguez, head coach, will call the play. His son, Rhett Rodriguez, will actually be the one on the radio telling the quarterback the play. And one reason they do it that way, I mean, Rich Rodriguez said, is his son is more controlled. So, I mean, Rich Rodriguez gets excited, and I can easily see him not being clear enough and controlled enough and even getting the quarterback too excited. And so lets his son send the play into the quarterback in a more calm, controlled, precise manner. The quarterback can make adjustments within the play based on what he sees with the defense. And again, that's not changing the play call, but changing some of the details within the play, some of the optional aspects. Now, he did say probably in fall, he'll give the quarterbacks, particularly the ones that he trusts most, a chance to call some of their own plays in practice, just to give them a chance to get the feel of it, maybe understand the system better, and he wants the quarterbacks to anticipate the play call, to kind of know what's coming if they know the system well enough, and if they know Rich Rodriguez well enough. And I'll follow up on that in a minute, because we did get a press conference with Rhett Rodriguez as well. One other issue, and again, keep in mind, we have a change coaching staff, change of players, and this change with having essentially an unlimited number of coaches. So we have maybe 30 or so coaches every practice doing things in the meetings, all of this. And it's just not as coordinated as Rich Rodriguez would like it to be. He has recognized that, and he said, after spring practice, we'll sit down with all of the coaches and actually go through very specifically what their responsibilities are. And by May, he'll have that taken care of. And again, I like that. Identify a problem, identify the reason, accept the fact that it is normal, and correct it. And of course, right now, Rich Rodriguez didn't say this, but I doubt that he knows what each coach's specific responsibilities are, because has never done this before. And seeing how all of this works is probably going to help define and redefine what a certain coach's responsibilities are. So the players are working a lot of things out as they go, so there are issues. Some things are slow, and the coaching staff is adjusting to a lot of new stuff, and the head coach is adjusting to new stuff. So, and of course, the same thing's going on, in this regard, just about everywhere. So this isn't different. How it gets handled will be the difference and the, significant factor. Now, Rhett Rodriguez. It is interesting seeing Rich Rodriguez and Rhett Rodriguez do back-to-back press conferences. Just the entire presentation is different, in style, not in content. Rhett Rodriguez has not been with his father this long and come out and say something different from what his father said. Additional, but not different. But yeah, his personality clearly is different. Rich Rodriguez has mentioned that a few times. Now, it is very high energy. You can tell he's young. I think he's like 27 years old or something. And he's got a lot of energy. He speaks quickly, precisely, but quickly. And so we'll see how all that works out. But it's going to be interesting. Impressed with the QBs so far. One thing I found I really liked, he did mention, losing Garrett Green and how good Green was, and wished him well with his attempt to play wide receiver in the NFL. And to be honest, that is one of the differences between him and his father. Rich Rodriguez just doesn't tend to think along those lines. He doesn't tend to, stop to wish people well who aren't with the program. He is focused on now. Rhett, has a little bit broader perspective, and both of them can work, and it's probably best to have people on the staff who have different perspectives. But it was an interesting distinction between father and son, I thought. Another point, and again, both Rich and Rhett have mentioned this, that having been around so long, Rhett knows how his father wants things done. That gives him an edge, really, even over the coaches they brought up from Jacksonville State. But really, with the ones who have not worked with Rich before, Rhett can help clarify things. He's the communicator. Rich says something, and then Rhett, if necessary, I think helps solidify the communication. So that's, I think, a good thing. Also of interest, Rhett got his degree in business, went on, I think he said master's in psychology, then went into the business world for a couple of years before deciding to go into coaching. He wanted to try business, and this now does, partly, he said recruiting, talking, trying to talk financial advisors into using their business. It was good preparation for trying to talk a recruit into coming to West Virginia. And the techniques for sales are not that different regardless of what the product is. And it is to a certain degree a product. But he also, I did this at Jacksonville State and planning to do it at West Virginia, actually teaching financial literacy to coaches and players. With the NIL world, that is a big deal. And I'm sure schools will more and more be trying to help people with that. But having somebody who is both coach and financial advisor of sorts can make a big difference. I think it will be a big help, especially to the players. To the coaches, yes, but the players are going to have a lot more pressures on them from so many different sides. And having somebody they have grown to trust on the practice field, I think maybe they will listen enough to avoid some really big mistakes. They're young, they will still make big mistakes, but hopefully this will limit the type, the number, and the size of the mistakes. All right, we do have, like I say, a couple more practices before spring break, so I expect to be back, and I do plan to do a live show, Where Do We Stand and What's Coming, Thursday evening. Hope to see you then and some other times. So long.